Mike.
We got to get to my 5-pack of stats here to get you ready for Sunday's game against Cincinnati. One last time as the NFL season wraps up. There's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed just by placing a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The best part about the app, it's easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, including live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best and easiest way to find popular parlays, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. We were talking about Joe Flacco, and the first stat today is about Mr. King Flaccavelli G. Bush. Do you know he is the only quarterback this season with 4 straight 300-yard multi-touchdown passing games this season? The only quarterback, all 32 teams, all 60 starters, the only one to have 4 straight 300-yard multi-touchdown games. Bull, you tweeted this out, but he has 13 passing touchdowns this season. That's 11th already on the Browns' single-season list, and he's only played 5 games. Against the Jets, on throws of 10 or more air yards, he was 6 of 9 for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. And why is that important? Well, since Joe Flacco took over as the Browns quarterback, they have the 3rd highest explosive pass rate in the entire NFL at 12%. Before Flacco took over, all other quarterbacks before Flacco, they ranked 27th in the NFL. They've jumped from 27th to 3rd with Flacco in explosive pass rate. They've gone from just 5% before, which was 27th, to 3rd at 12%.
Wow.
More than double where they had been.
What were they with just Watson, do you know?
No, it lumps it in by week, so okay. I could figure that out later, but for right now,
curious.
It's all before. They were 5%, they're up to 12% now.
I mean, the top line there is absolutely mind-numbing. He's played in 5 games. We've got quarterbacks that have played in 16 games. Not many.
Oh, you mean the second? Are you talking about the second thing or the first thing?
No, the first thing. He's the only quarterback with 4 straight 300-yard. He's only had 5 games to do it. All these other quarterbacks have played many more games, and no one's come close to that.
Tim Graham's a colleague of mine at the Athletic in Buffalo. Tim's actually from Cleveland. I worked with him generations ago at my first job. Really good guy. And he and I are working on a back-and-forth debate piece on comeback player of the year, Damar Hamlin or Joe Flacco. He's obviously stumping for Damar, and I'm taking Joe.
Yeah,
Why?
it is silly.
It's fun.
No. It's a fine piece. But to argue, we did this argument yesterday.
I don't think there's any argument for Damar Hamlin.
How do you give it to a guy that's played? He's got 2 tackles.
He's played 16 snaps.
And my recommendation was, you know what? Create a new award.
That's what I said.
Call it the Damar Hamlin Courage Award.
I said,
and that's
Damar Hamlin, I died on the field and had a hole punched in my throat, and here I am.
By the way,
Courage Award. Because that's the line that Tim used in the story.
It's ridiculous. By the way, we don't want to go down this road again because it was a big argument yesterday, but we actually Jay argued Baker, and I argued Matthew Stafford over both.
Baker is this.
We're not going down
the odds on
down the road.
No, we don't got to go down that road, but I do want to hear Jason's pick. It was a hot topic yesterday. The odds-on favorite are Damar Hamlin, overwhelming #1.
Yeah.
Then Flacco, and then Baker. And Flacco and Baker are pretty close. And then the 4th pick, who was way down, was Matthew Stafford.
I would take Baker.
You would take Baker?
I'd take Baker over Stafford. But the whole reason I brought that up was because I was looking at 300-yard games, and I don't have it in front of me now, but I think C.J. Stroud has 7 300-yard games this year, I think.
There haven't been a lot this year.
But basically, Joe has 1 less than Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes has, what's Joe have, 4?
Yeah.
4.
So then I think Patrick has 5. I think it is.
That's crazy.
And Sam Howell has a bunch of 300-yard games.
Well, they've been down big in a lot of games.
I'm trying to figure
out
why other people are astonished by this. I don't know why. When you look at Joe Flacco, I don't think we put enough respect on his game.
Gee, he's mostly been bad for the last decade.
But this shows you.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to do with all about you being bad. It's about the situation you're put in. It's about the environment.
What year did he win the Super Bowl?
2011 was the season.
Yeah,
2012 Super Bowl.
It wasn't bad that year. That goes.
Well, that's
it's
more
a
than
little
10
more
years
than a
ago.
decade ago, but he had seasons after his Super Bowl year that were fine.
2014 was his last really good year.
It was a really good year.
He's
14.
been nothing since then, pretty much.
Well,
that goes.
I thought
it's surprising.
No.
Well, last year he threw for 300 yards in the first 2 or 3 games for the Jets.
I know, and then
quickly got benched
because he's in the 3rd game
because the Jets don't know what the hell they have.
Jay, come on.
Clearly,
he has
they
not
don't.
played that well the last bunch of years.
Bull, his agent called the Jets after Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and they said, no, we're good.
Agreed, the Jets are clueless, but it's
Okay.
But 30 other
Flacco's not
teams
been
also
good.
didn't call it either.
But that just you can't base what 30 other teams do. 30 other teams ain't gonna win the Super Bowl either. It's about what you do and put them in a position.
No, but you said it's not. We shouldn't be surprised. Of course, it's surprising.
You shouldn't. What?
Come on,
bro. He has an elite arm. He's seen every defense possible. He's played in big time games. He has a wealth of knowledge. He is not washed up. He's fresh. Why would you not believe that a guy with
Because
those
he hasn't
skills-
done it for
I'm
a
kind of
decade.
between you guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have predicted this, but I mean, hell, he threw for 300 yards his first couple of games last year and got benched
Yeah.
after the third game.
I mean, the reality is that none of us are as smart as NFL executives.
That's not true.
That ain't true.
Well,
not
for the
true at
most
all.
part. And the entire NFL
It's
didn't call
completely
him back.
absurd.
There's some idiots
I'll
walking
agree
around
with
here.
you, Mike. None of
Out
us
of
are
your
as
mind.
smart as
There's
NFL
some people
executives.
that don't have no clue.
Are you
I'm
just
just saying
kidding
people
me,
who
Mike?
work in this industry who are paid very high salaries to evaluate talent.
And they get it wrong all the time.
And I'm not
and
saying
so
they're
do we.
perfect.
Like, we get it wrong
Yeah,
all
I'm
the
not
time.
saying
Of course
they're
we
perfect, but they
do.
decided
Everybody
Joe
gets it
Flacco
wrong.
was
To
his
Scouting
say
guy.
it's
talent
not
is not
surprising.
science.
I mean, come on.
Nah,
I'm not
It's
going
very
to
surprising. It's very
Come on.
surprising.
I'm just saying.
Gee, the reason it's surprising is that this is the best story in sports. If you weren't surprised by it, it wouldn't be the best story in
Yeah,
sports.
exactly.
The fact that it's the best story in sports comes from the fact, as you alluded to beautifully yesterday, he came back from, I won't say the couch because we don't know he's not on the couch.
Did you
He
see-
came back from his bedroom. It was in his house, chilling, and now he's doing it. All right, let's get to the second stat, though, because we got a couple more to get to. How about Myles Garrett? Here's the entire list of players with 14 or more sacks in 2021, 2022, and 2023. Myles Garrett. That's it. No one else. Just Myles Garrett. Against the Jets, he had 6 pressures in less than 2.5 seconds, which brings his total on the season of quick pressures under 2.5 seconds, to 54. That's second in the NFL behind Micah Parsons. And we don't like PFF, but I did think this was interesting.
I like PFF.
He is, maybe it's not the same as it used to be.
Bull
I still like
likes it.
PFF.
They're dead
too.
to me.
I should lie. But he's on pace to break 4 single-season PFF records for edge rushers. Overall grade, pass rush grade, pass rush win rate, and true pass rush win rate, which is it takes out screens, it takes out pass plays that aren't – there's no ability to get a pass rush. So essentially, he is on pace for the single greatest edge rusher season in PFF metrics. So the traditional stats may not back it up, but you look at the analytics, it's Myles and it's everybody else.
But he doesn't have sacks, McNuggets. Micah Parsons, I saw him play for Dallas, and Micah Parsons, shut up. Myles Garrett been nicer than Micah Parsons. He gets to the quarterback in 0.5 seconds.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Now, let's do a dose of reality. Even though I 100% think Myles Garrett should be the defensive MVP, with 100% certainty, I could say that if the roles were reversed and Myles Garrett had the sacks and T.J. Watt or Micah Parsons had the better analytics, then all the Browns fans screaming for Myles Garrett would be screaming the opposite.
You
way.
use the number that fits your
100
narrative.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right
However,
about
that doesn't change
Yeah.
my opinion
No.
that Myles Garrett
Well,
is clearly the best defensive
Ben
player.
Baby
in the
was
league.
on earlier this week, and he told us about a stat that ESPN sort of created that is it's a combo stat for edge rushers. And it equates a lot. It'd be probably the equivalent to a QBR. It adds a lot of different measurables in. And he said when you look at that stat, and it's a compilation of all the things that you want the edge rusher to do, it's Myles Garrett and then everybody else, and there's a huge gap between them. And I believe that. I do. And I think he is going to be the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I think it's long overdue. He should have probably won. Although he has had seasons in the past where he's tailed off. We've talked about that.
Right.
I think motivation has a lot to do with it. We've talked about that. That you have nothing left to play
When
for.
you're 5-10.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get up. So to me, he's the defensive player. I've enjoyed watching him every week. I enjoy getting to know him a little bit. He's a great guy, fascinating to talk to. All of his different interests. Now minority owner in the Cavs. And
Oh, you threw that in there as quick. I like that.
Well, no, it was just like
there
there was a time not long ago when I had serious concerns about how much longer Myles was going to be in Cleveland, and those are gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, we're giving out flowers, and I don't want to go too far off the track, but I thought David Njoku had a soundbite yesterday that was the biggest single example of the maturation of any player that I've covered closely and looked at closely. the soundbite, I'll paraphrase it. He said, every year of my career, I've gone into it and through the season, all I thought about was my stats. I wanted so many catches and so many touchdowns and so many yards. And this year, I divorced myself from that idea. I said, I don't care about stats. I want to be the best I can be to help my team, and I'm going to the Pro Bowl. And I thought that was a full circle maturation because, remember, there was a time not long ago he was a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
And it was imminent that he was out of town. And I really looked at that soundbite in that moment, and I said, he has arrived physically and mentally.
He is a tremendous story of a guy who's really sort of come out of his shell this year in terms of what he says in the media really doesn't count. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But in terms of his play on the field. But you can sort of gauge it just in terms of where he's at. And he used to never want to talk, never used to say anything. And now he's a machine. He's a quote machine.
Yeah.
He's very insightful and he's very happy. And that wasn't always the case here. There was multiple trade requests. They brought in Austin Hooper and they drafted Harrison Bryant. And he's the last one standing. Well, I guess Bryant's still here.
Well, if the John Dorsey regime had lasted any longer, he wouldn't be here. He'd be gone.
That's probably true.
Jimmy Donovan told me that yesterday. He said they had come to the decision he's out.
And, and David has said early on that his relationship with Kevin was rocky at first. And I've had other people tell me, Kevin did a tremendous job of getting David to buy back in and get him back in the boat and pick up the oars again and start rowing because he was out. And when they drafted him, he was a super athletic young kid who was just an athlete, and he's really become a football player.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that his relationship with Kevin has come full circle. Did you guys see the clip where he was mic'd up for the game when Hopkins got hurt, and he was politicking to Kevin to kick? And what blew me away more than anything was he'd gone up to Stefanski 4 or 5 different times and said, come on, I can do this. Yeah. He wasn't calling him coach. He was calling him Kev. Mm-hmm. He's like, Kev, I can make this. I can make this. First of all, it's a hilarious clip. We should find it and play it. But I was like, wow, he's calling him Kev.
Yeah.
Can you imagine one of the Patriots? I don't know. Maybe they do. Calling Belichick Bill? I don't think it goes down that way, but I like it.
We've often on this show and other media members have been critical of Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski at times for being too patient with some players. Like, get rid of Anthony Schwartz, get rid of this guy.
Right.
But the reality is, it's good to be patient in most cases. They weren't with Cade York, which worked out. But generally, if you draft a guy, you believe in him. If you give up on him too quick, what does that say about you?
Well, look, they did give up on Baker. And we're talking about him as the comeback player of the year.
They didn't draft Baker.
No, I know, but giving up on a player in general, someone that's in your system that you decide we got to keep or we got to let go, he's up for comeback player of the year.
I hear you.
So patience.
Shouldn't win.
I agree with you, and in 99% of the cases, that's right.
Yeah.
Just stay the course. Give them time to develop. It took Njoku a long time, but it's been worth the wait for sure.
It has.
Okay.
All right, number 3 comes from Ben Baldwin, a.k.a. the Computer Cowboy on Twitter.
Oh, I like that guy.
He's a good follower.
He's really good. Yeah. So don't ask necessarily context. I just have this. I don't know how he came up with this, but series conversion rate, which is essentially how often do teams turn a 1st and 10 situation into another set of downs. From the defensive standpoint, the further the minus, the better. The Browns have a minus 11.4 series conversion rate, better than the league average. So they are 10% better at forcing teams to not turn a 1st and 10 into something else.
Don't ask me how you compute it. Into a first down, you mean?
Into a first down, yeah. Don't ask me how it's computed. I don't know. But when I see a graphic that has the 2023 Browns as number 1 all time, with the 2000 Ravens as number 2, the 2008 Ravens as number 3, and the 2002 Buccaneers as number 4, and the Browns are better than those 3 defenses, that means something.
Yeah. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the year about how the defense was getting off the field and the Browns were running 60 more snaps?
60 more snaps, yep.
Basically, the Browns were keeping opposing defenses out on the field an extra full game because their defense was so good at getting off the field.
Man,
that's nuts. And those are all-time great defenses. And I'm sure
that's what I'm saying. I don't know exactly
how it's had gone back to 1985, the 85 Bears would be in there.
It goes back to 96. So it's up to 9. And once again, I don't know how he.
But those defenses are all-time great defenses.
Some of the best defenses ever, and the Browns, at least in this series conversion rate above league average, better than those 3.
Stunning.
There's a lot of teams that have this philosophy of you know what? We're going to give up some yards here or there, and we're just going to bend but don't break, holding to some field goals. And it's the most infuriating thing to be a defensive player, and they call a defense that you know is going to give up 4 yards, but they're playing for down the line. It's the Browns. You know what they do? The reason they're that good is because they're more aggressive than everybody.
Get them off the field.
They are aggressive, and then when you think they're going to let up, they're more aggressive. So, that's the thing that I hold on to is I like a coordinator that's not going to watch somebody walk the ball down the field or play cover 3. And I remember times watching the Browns give up 5 to 7 yards a pop. Just 7, 5, check down. You're like, what? No. I love the fact the Browns played this aggressively.
Yeah, get them off. 3
All right,
plays.
number 4.
One
How
question,
about
Mike, before you go on. Do you know this
Yeah.
stat? Did I see a stat last week that said the Browns lead the NFL in takeaways?
I think they're third or fourth.
I think they're third. I could double check
You're
for you
right.
one sec.
They were.
That shocked me because they got off
Early
to a
20 season, they did.
slow start.
It was 27 take. I saw the stats.
Yeah, 27, and I thought it said
27.
they were first in the NFL.
Yeah, and
I was
after-
like, wow, man, did they make up that ground fast?
Yeah.
Because-
They have 27. Baltimore is 29. So they're 2
Baltimore
behind
probably
Baltimore
passed
for
them
the
last
lead.
week because I saw what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Tied
Yeah,
for
I think
third.
at the time they were first
Yeah.
because I remember seeing they
They were
put it on the
tied.
I
graphic.
think it was probably after they had already played the Jets before the Ravens had played.
It probably was
That
it.
That's
popped
probably
up.
what it
But
was.
that's to
Yeah.
me, that's stunning because
It's
they were
amazing.
not taking it away
First
in the
month
first
they
4 or 5
weren't.
games. They
Yeah.
did not do it.
Major turn. Okay, number 4. How about some unsung defensive heroes? We talked about Ronnie Hickman earlier. Mm-hmm. Well, last week against the Jets, he was the highest graded PFF safety in the league. He had a 93 grade. Since week 14, when he started playing more regular snaps after Grant Delpit's gone out, he has an 84.7 PFF grade. That ranks 5th out of 95 qualified safeties. And with his snaps against the Jets, he officially enters the overall safety category. He's the 4th highest PFF graded safety in all of football this year, which is kind of absurd. Alex Wright, Alex Wright, 3 straight games with a sack. He has 7 QB pressures in those 3 games. He's up to 19 on the season. He only had 12 all of last year. He has 7 in the last 3 games. 2 guys to watch on Sunday who will definitely play. Alex Wright, Ronnie Hickman, playing at a phenomenal level. Hopefully that continues for the Browns.
And
That's
Mike,
the playoff
you
push.
say he only had 12 last year and he has 19 this year. My guess,
How many
I
snaps?
obviously could be wrong, is he took a lot more snaps last year.
I would have guessed that too.
He missed a few games, but I could tell you.
But
in
he
one
was a
second.
bigger part of the defense
Right, they
last
had
year.
nobody
I mean,
last
this year he's relegated to second team.
Yeah. But
And-
no, yes, I mean, both those guys.
But the Hickman stat, you
Yeah.
said 4th rated safety?
Yeah, he's played 297 snaps now, which once you break 250, you enter the category of all safeties. Anything below that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
4th highest graded safety.
PFF's not dead to you right now.
Well, I'm kind of loving PFF right now.
Looking at that number.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really impressive. He's a guy that right now is passing the PFF test and the eye test.
You're right. Yeah, and
You know,
when you
And
get
Bull,
both
by
of
the way-
those.
By
you're
the
a
way,
lot.
I just looked it up. Alex Wright played 200 more snaps than he has this season. And he
Yeah,
has
that's what I
9 more
figured. So the fact that
7
he's
more
got
pressures, yeah.
he's got more pressures playing 200 less snaps.
Yeah, that's a couple of complete games.
I mean, that's crazy.
yeah, it is. It's nuts.
Yeah, he's been really coming on.
And the last one before we read some comments on G's outfit, because the chat, G, is
yeah.
loving the fit. But a
Yeah,
couple
we gotta get
records
to it.
that Stefanski has a chance to eclipse this week. He could become the first Browns coach, or he is the first Browns coach, to lead the team to multiple playoff berths since Marty Schottenheimer. He joins Paul Brown as the only head coach in franchise history with multiple 11-win regular seasons.
Wow.
The Browns' longest win streak since returning to Cleveland in '99, 4 games. They've done it 4 times. It's happened 3 times under Stefanski. And if they win this Sunday, it'll be 5, setting a new record. He's also looking to become the
And
second
Earl gets
coach
all the
ever.
flowers in the world if they win Sunday.
That's true.
Yes.
Because he sat in G's chair one day when he was out and said with all the confidence of G. Bush and all the Kool-Aid
Flacco
of
for
G.
Flacco,
Bush
baby.
that they were going to go 5-0.
And we laughed at
ridiculed
him.
them.
We're lockstep. What do you mean? He sat in his chair. Then he said what he was supposed to.
He gets part